Alright, this is the Kha Zix jungle tier list. And since there's not a lot of actual, changes in this one, I don't want to just have a splash shirt and bother you with that. So this time I'll entertain you with something like scenes some scenes I may have never actually shown you people from team battles or like team battles I never uploaded, like this one. Never actually used it. And the usual commentary over some of the things that actually did change in the tier list. Anyways, first one is Rengar. So I keep getting like, oh my god, Stonewall, why did you put him in tier 3 in the last tier list? For starters, he was a broken mess. It isn't that he was, quote unquote, his kit was bad, is that he couldn't use it. It's because he was bugged to hell and he had some inconsistencies. For starters, one of the biggest changes, in my opinion, is his leap out attacking when you pounce somebody. That's a huge difference because you apply red and, if you have your Q on, you apply that too. It's just like a bam in the face. And usually when you pounce on somebody and you try to use Q right off the bat, it sometimes will bug out and kind of just falter, stupid crap. It's like, it was buggy. Let alone the E itself, especially with ferocity, will sometimes just not do anything. Like, it would bug out, and then you just wasted your entire ferocity bar, and you wasted, a gank attempt. So it was just, the bugs on him were a complete fucking mess. That too, the W thing was kind of a big deal too. Casting it would screw up your chasing, and it would screw up the damage output you do. Why? Because you'd have to stop in order to, you'd stop, cast it, scream in the air, and you wouldn't be able to continue the chase. Now, you could just jump somebody and just, you scream in their face multiple times and then move about or reposition yourself or whatever. So it was a really big fucking deal. Also, his ultimate got a movement speed buff, and that made a huge difference, because before it was barely noticeable. Now he's a much better ganker than Shaco. He's like the fusion, and Nocturne. He's a fusion of Nocturne and Shaco. So yeah, that is a huge fucking deal, and that's why he's back up. However, I'm still talking about Rengar because you could just watch Lee Sin beat him, because Lee Sin, you can read about him. The Rengar thing though, he can't actually go much higher than tier 2 yet, because his jungle is still pretty crap, as in he doesn't clear that great, and they kind of just slowed, early on, and they just made him even slower by nerfing his Q, even if it's slightly. So it's like, I'm just waiting out to see if they're going to nerf him anymore, and I doubt he'll be higher than tier 2, which isn't bad. He's a really amazing ganker, but otherwise, okay. Anyways, Lee Sin, not much to say. You should probably read what I mentioned. It's mostly because Dr. Mundo went down, and Lee Sin's probably the perfect jungler in the sense of what jungling is, not what jungling currently is in the meta. It's like, as a jungler, he's godly. As a pick, it depends totally on the meta. But it's fucking awesome, and a lot of people still underestimate him, even some pros. Diamond Prox pretty much dreams about his abs every single night. It's like, anyways, Cho'Gath, he's being reused by pros. I've always had him tier 1, since I learned a year ago of how amazing the guy is. Remember, versatility of Cho'Gath, that thing exists. It's like, he's starting to see a rise, even though, he gets countered hard by certain junglers, because the enemy, he counters certain mids and team fights really well. Like, Katarina's kind of going crazy on some plays right now, and he fucking destroys her. Even if he didn't mean to silence her, even by accident or whatever, and he ends up silencing her, then that's a huge bonus. Like, he stops her, rampaging destruction with a good silence or a good Q. He's got the CC to do that. He's also a jungler that's very good at taking early oracles with his gold items, since he's going to be safe thanks to his amazing sustain in the jungle, and he's going to have enough health with his ultimate in order to, be hard, make himself quote-unquote tankier, especially versus casters. So it's like, he has a lot of, leeway in his build, and rune-wise, item-wise, and everything, and that's making him great right now. Teams are picking him up. And of course, he's got the whole tanky jungle thing. And anyways, now just on to the one they probably all want to know. Kha Zix. I already mentioned in the team battle that I don't actually like him very much, because I don't actually like assassins in the jungle that much, because they don't actually work out and they're kind of a pain to use. And as a jungler, you're more accustomed to being tanky. This guy can't really be built tank. And to be honest, you can build him a tank, it's going to make him a lot less effective, and he doesn't really have any utility outside of evolving his W, which isn't that great anyways, compared to everything else. But, whatchamacallit, since he doesn't have utility, it kind of kills the purpose of being tank. And why the hell wouldn't you just use somebody else? That being said, aside from his clearing, he kind of does a lot of damage to enemy champions. He just like annihilates isolated guys, like just chunks them. He's okay. That's all I'll say. He's okay. I wouldn't rush to pick him for competitive yet, like unless they maybe buff him or something. He has no noticeable bugs, or except that he is a bug, and he's an average jungler with the chance of snowballing, but he can't build tanky. He got no real utility to go otherwise. So, like teamfight presence, it's almost non-existent except for maybe eating the carry. But I can't stress this enough. Kha Zix won't work because assassins don't work in the jungle, except Lee Sin. That's because he got it. But the explanation will be there. Assassins need too much gold in order to function well. The jungle doesn't give you that gold naturally. That means he's got to gank something in order to get it. If he doesn't gank anybody, he falls apart because he's going to have even less, like just crap amount of gold. He won't be effective. If he builds tank, he deals almost no damage, and he doesn't have utility to make up for that gold deficit. So there's that. If this is where assassins fail in the jungle. Lee Sin survives because he can build tank and still do something. He's he can be a jungle assassin that transitions into a tank, a support bruiser tank or whatever. So he's got that. Kha Zix doesn't. So as far as it goes, Kha Zix can work in the jungle, but I think he's better in a solo lane.